Welcome to part 2 of blended classes. So what do you do in the class? What kind of activities can you do in class? In a flipped classroom, students engage with lectures and other materials outside of class to prepare for active learning experience in the classroom. After the preparation and design of activities for the in-class portion of your class, your primary role will be to monitor, guide, and support the learning process of your students. Students will have varied levels of understanding and comprehension after having completed the out-of-class work. After assessing their understanding in the online environment, you may approach the in-class activities in one of two ways, either as individual or group-based activities. Let's go through some activities you can do in class. So, individual activities can be most beneficial and relevant if your students have demonstrated difficulty with understanding the content or material introduced to them out of class. Individual exercises can be used in advance of group ones to help students navigate a higher risk group activity and can be helpful for students who need more individual reflective time to learn. So you do things like this, like word webs and concept maps for individuals. Done either individually or collaboratively, concept maps can reinforce concepts learned out of class and build connections between various topics. Students map out how concepts, ideas, or theories are thematically related in a visual manner. Now, any gaps can be a useful inspiration for discussion either at a group or class level. Individual problem solving. In-class problem-solving activities allow students to tackle problems during class with their peers and the instructor on hand to discuss challenges. Ideally used to increase practice time on problem solving and provide immediate feedback to students about misconceptions. This is very helpful. Now, group activities are often the goal of an in-class portion of the flipped classroom. Each student will bring their own individual understanding of the content of the lesson, and together, in small groups, they will be able to draw on each other's knowledge and understanding of the material to forge new understandings and better recall of the content. Now, here are some group activities for larger classrooms. First one is Think, Pair, Share. So take a central concept presented in an out-of-class material or a particularly controversial quiz question from a prior assessment and have students reflect on it individually and then discuss it further. In the think phase, students work independently and flesh out their thoughts and arguments and may write their thoughts down. In the pair phase, students discuss their responses with a partner. And in the share phase, the instructor elicits responses from all members of the class and begins to engage students in a wider discussion, demonstrating the many different perspectives. Another activity is team matrix. Now, when new concepts have been introduced that are quite similar to one another, a team matrix can help parse the most salient features of each concept while differentiating between each. Present pairs of students with a list of characteristics that may or may not be shared between concepts and have the students determine which characteristics belong to each or both concepts. Discuss answers with the entire class afterwards to check comprehension. Another activity is Think Aloud pair problem solving. Present students with a set of complex problems that require multiple steps to solve. Pair up students and ask one student to be the problem solver who explains their thought process in developing a solution based on what was learned out of class. The partner listens to this process and offers suggestions if there are difficulties or expresses confusion should there be parts that are difficult to understand. After the first problem has been solved, ask the students to switch roles and begin again. And there are case studies. Students review a case study concerning a specific real-life problem or scenario. Applying what they learned in the out-of-class portion of the class, the group will discuss how they would tackle the problem and what solution they would prepare. Each group can then debrief with the rest of the class and present their solution. Now here are group activities for smaller classes. 3-step interview. Students are initially grouped into pairs where each student takes a few minutes to interview the other about the material that was read online. Students come up with questions they would like to ask, and after each member in the pair has interviewed the other, the pair summarizes their partner's responses and then shares them with another pair of students. Role play. Role play can be facilitated in class to demonstrate varying perspectives on a topic, such as a controversial topic in the media. Now, students assume different roles in small groups and act out the parts with their varying perspectives they would have. After the role play, conclude with a larger discussion to see what approaches the groups or individual members took. Reaction sheets. Choose a number of broader overarching questions based on out-of-class material. Divide the class into small groups and give each group one of these questions and a large piece of paper to record their responses. Each group spends 10 minutes to write everything that comes to mind in relation to the topic. When the 10 minutes is up, each group moves to another table and leaves the paper with the question and their responses on it behind. At their new tables, groups review the question and the comments, which have already been recorded, and added additional comments. After each group has added comments to all other groups' questions, they return to the initial question, review the additional comments provided, and summarize to the entire class. This activity is useful for solidifying the understanding of a special topic or a threshold concept that the entire class needs to understand properly. Critical debate. Choose a controversial topic and determine what side of the argument the student would be in favor of during the out-of-class task. Once in class, separate the students into groups based on their alignment and have them argue for their chosen position. Have students in each group choose specific roles in the debate process, and after having sufficient time to prepare an argument, let's say 30 minutes or so, have each group pair up and with a group of the opposing viewpoint and engage in debate. Afterwards, synthesize the various points of debate in a larger class discussion. Now, I have dozens of other activities for individuals, groups, both small and large, and I would be happy to talk to you about your specific classes and activities that you could plan for in your class.